Welcome to the SAP Hybris Marketing demo. We'll start with our fundamental value proposition. Hybris Marketing collects every bit of customer data and interactions into a central place in order to gain the full context of the customer. Marketers can leverage the centralized real-time profile to gain insight and to drive real-time contextual engagement, coordinated across channels. Tailoring marketing activities to respective customer groups can increase the success rate significantly. Let's get started. This is the home screen of the application, and you'll notice that it's a significant departure from the traditional SAP interfaces. The UI is flexible and can be tailored by role. Each tile can also be moved around and can act as mini dashboards with key information or KPIs to be tracked. For instance, you can see that I have a tile showing the sentiment ratio across our customer base, and another summarizing the number of contacts available in the system, in this case 6 million. The tiles can also provide shortcuts to different areas of the application, external links, etc., and this is easily customizable and adaptable based on individual preferences and responsibilities. At the top, you see all of the modules that we have available today. Loyalty is on the roadmap, so it's not yet visible. First, let's take a look at a sample customer profile. The key value proposition of Hybris Marketing is that we can collect data from several sources, bring it all together, match, merge, and enrich it, and create a central profile for every customer that's updated in real time. We're looking at Fred Fox, a valued customer. We need to know who he is, what he's done in the past, and what he's doing now to then predict what he'll do next. On the left-hand side, we see demographic data about Fred, as well as some scores calculated based on his activity. The first tab on the right-hand side, called Personal Data, shows additional information that's been captured. Here we can see some of the data sources and records that were used to create the central profile and its master data, Hybris Commerce, CRM, ERP, and some cookie data brought in from external systems. The really interesting part is in the Interactions tab, where you see every single interaction that you've had with a customer across different channels, be it transactional, behavioral, inbound, or outbound, on a very granular level. If you don't have a holistic picture of all of these interactions, you cannot understand the full context of the customer, and any downstream activity that you do will not be fully personalized. At the bottom, you can see all of the activities and interactions with Fred that we can capture from several channels, anything from sales orders, leads, and opportunities, and this comes from a transactional side all the way down to interactions on the web, social media, newsletters sent, campaigns, and call center information. You can use this timeline to set the time frame for your calculation to whatever you prefer, and everything will be calculated in real time. What you see on the right-hand side is a feed of all interactions that have happened over time on a granular level. The tag cloud depicts the interests that were extracted from the interactions, and at first glance, you can see that this customer is most interested in compact cameras. If I select the tag, the system automatically filters it down to only those channels where compact cameras were mentioned, and only those interactions where these cameras were involved. Another nifty feature allows me to see the interactions in a journey format, with the channels across the x-axis and the time across the y-axis, so we can follow the path taken by Fred across channels. This is not a view that a marketer would use on a daily basis, but it demonstrates the level of granularity that we capture and information that can be leveraged across the solution. In a minute, we'll see a high-level view of this data for all our customers that the marketer can leverage. So, what we've seen so far is a demographic and transactional data that's being enriched by real-time click-through information from Hybris Commerce. We've captured who the customer is, what they've done in the past, and what they're doing now. We can also leverage the interactions to calculate scores. For example, what the sentiment score is and how the customer feels right now towards the brand. You can also calculate customer lifetime value, churn analysis, and other predictive scores for each customer. At the top, we can show the top 5 products that a customer likes based on their browsing behavior on our commerce site. We can also look at the buying history of the customer, and based on all of this data, our recommendation engine can make relevant recommendations for this customer. By providing a central profile that leverages not only past and present data, but also predicts future behavior, the Hybris Marketing solution allows marketers to discover valuable insights and groups of data that can be used to drive marketing activities. And this is precisely what we'll do next. So let's have a look at the insight component of Hybris Marketing. The insight component allows marketing executives and marketing managers to review the success of marketing investments and gives a comprehensive overview of KPI attainment and marketing performance benchmarks. For instance, in a B2B scenario, we can perform various analysis, such as stratification of customer accounts, where we calculate various parameters for each account, and provide a map of where they fall across 4 different quadrants: marginal customers, core customers, service drain, and opportunistic customers. There are filters on the left-hand side, or you can use drag and drop to create target groups and take action on them. For accounts, we can collect similar information, but also track the information across the key contacts of the organization. Let's go back to the data management component. As you might recall from the theoretic part of this course, marketing data management is the foundational layer of the entire solution. Here, all of the data is managed and stored. Contact engagement helps you to analyze and browse through your contact and consumer data. As you can see here, I have 6 million customers. Based on the data completion on their profiles, I can create groups of customers, anonymous customers tracked through cookies, for instance, that I know nothing about, self-identified customers who have shared their email, qualified customers who've given sufficient information to know who they are, and business partners who are actual customers. These groups, or buckets, are customizable and can be based on years' worth of data. Let me go back to 2014. For example, I can ask simple questions and get my answers in a visual manner, using the time frame and the tag cloud. So let's see. And all my qualified customers, give me all those that show an interest in debit card, current account, and online banking. The result is visible here on the right-hand side, and I can immediately see how many customers I can address. Then I'll go in channel mode and narrow down my selection by choosing only those who have communicated with me outbound or inbound via email. So now I have a much smaller group of customers, down from 6 million in just 3 clicks. This is the true power of the solution, bringing together the context of the customers through granular data on interests, behavior across channels, etc., and allowing the marketer to easily mine that data. You can obviously add more filters to your selection and create a target group to use in marketing activity. Or create a segmentation model that can further be sliced and diced within the segmentation model. Now let's look at sentiment engagement. This is where you can look at both structured and unstructured data coming from internal and external sources, such as call centers, social media, email, etc., and extract the customer sentiment. One thing to remember is that the data that we capture is mostly centered around enterprise data and relevant social data. So, based on contact records that already exist in the system, we can capture social information from those customers or information that comes from different channels, Twitter, email, and so on. And we can use the same concept as shown before, where you can filter based on interests, channel, sentiment, and so on. And you can create target groups based on customer posts and create follow-up actions. Another interesting way to visualize and analyze customer data is to use Customer Journey Insight, which leverages the granular data that we saw on a single contact, such as interaction across channels, interests, and so on, but it shows it for all of the customers. Here you can see the journeys that customers have taken across different channels to reach a specific end event, such as buying your product. Different events can be defined based on a company's business. We have different ways to filter, such as date range, touch points, top journeys, and so on. We can analyze journeys from different end events, interaction types, and channels. After a marketing campaign has been initiated, for instance, we can also look at the journey for a specific target group. You can also select journeys and see additional information such as a number of customers and unique journeys. In line with our principles to go from analysis to action, from here you could create a target group and launch a campaign, or view details on the customer who's part of the journey that you've selected, such as their interests and sentiment. You also have the ability to identify the top journeys and also compare different journeys that you've previously looked at. Now, the next mechanism for exploring data is around segmentation, which is a typical activity for each marketer. However, we've tried to reinvent this in a way that's easy to use, offers interesting data visualization capabilities, and supports segmentation across multiple parameters, demographic data, transactional data, behavioral data, as well as predictive information. Based on SAP HANA, the segmentation engine is able to segment millions of data records in real time with high granularity, without the need to work with batch processes or pre-aggregated data. Let me show you some of these capabilities. I'll start with my customer base of 6 million, and let's say I'm interested in those located in Germany and the US. Here on the left, I have country as a filter attribute, so when I choose that, I get a nice map visualization where I can choose US and then Germany. I get two branches below my initial customer base, and if I drag and drop Germany over US and say merge, I filter down from all consumers to just those in the regions I'm interested in, without typing one single character. I can also look at geolocation to see where most of my customers are clustered. As you can see, most of them are in and around Germany. I can hide clustering and drill all the way in to see customers in the Munich vicinity. I can draw a polygon around Munich on the map and then say complete polygon and click on keep, and the system looks at all of the information that I have on GPS coordinates and gives me only the customers that match this criteria. I can do a similar activity using a radius, for example, instead of the polygon. I can now apply behavioral data on top of this. I can leverage the word cloud concept from before to choose only those customers who are interested in travel, health insurance, and vaccination. When I click on Separate, I get only the customers across US and Germany who have expressed this interest. I can then apply predictive and scoring information that's calculated in real time. So if I select this travel health insurance group and only look at the sentiment scores, I can apply scoring using the conditions and get all of the customers who have certain sentiment across certain channels and within a set time frame. Or I can also visualize the data within a histogram and select the customers who express positive sentiment. In this histogram, you're pulling information from sentiment scores captured and calculated for every single customer, which we saw earlier for Fred Fox. So, what can I do after I've performed segmentation? One of the activities could be to create a target group for an email newsletter. So I can create my target group and name it Test for Partners and select my marketing area. This is important because you can segregate your operations across multiple regions and/or departments and still maintain independence and control over who does what and who has access to which information. And in this case, the target group. So this is what a target group looks like. It's a list of customers. I can release this target group. This is a status to help control and manage the use of target groups only when they're ready, and then I can create a new campaign. I can select the relevant campaign type, and now, in the campaign, I can start taking action. So let's recap what we've done so far. We've looked at an individual customer, at an aggregate view of customers. We've sliced and diced that data to uncover a group of people who are interested in travel health insurance and vaccination, and now we can start marketing activity. Note that I haven't left the system at all until this point. All of the calculations have been performed on the fly and with access to all of the relevant data. What you can see here are typical campaign details. You can link the campaign to a program to connect it to a budget plan. You can set a start and end date, select a priority, or connect it to a CRM campaign. Now let's go to automation to create a simple marketing campaign. For all of the customers in the target group that I've created, I can perform all of these actions. I can send a text message, an email. I can send them to Facebook to run a Facebook ad, or export them to a CSV file. I can connect back to the CRM system to drive leads, call center activities, tasks, and so on. In this case, I want to send a simple email campaign. Then, I'll choose an email template. Now I get the option to create a really personalized message by leveraging the information that's been collected from various sources, such as real-time information from website browsing, transactional or behavioral data. You can also create more advanced step-by-step automated campaigns. Let's look at a situation where the customers browsed an e-commerce site, selected items, but then abandoned the shopping cart. Here, we could define an email campaign to be sent within 1 day to target those people with a special offer. Then we can track if they open the email or not and set further actions, such as to send another email or an SMS to incentivize the customer to act. The added value of a step-by-step campaign is that you can track the interactions of your customer and initiate relevant and personalized next steps. Email content is stored in the template library where all predefined email templates are captured. You can either create your own emails or import them from any web design tool. Once the templates have been created, you can create instances of those templates so that marketers can add all of the required parameters that they need in updating the email or SMS communication. Here's email content that's been personalized. We also have the ability to include dynamic content such as pictures, links, and text blocks based on attributes of the contact. For example, we can react on the gender or profession of the contact. In this example, if we have the mobile information of the customer, we can display it. That's the default content shown. If, however, we don't have the mobile number for certain customers, we can define a condition, in this case, no mobile, assign it to the email content, and design the content that should be shown. Here we've added text, a link to maintain the information, and an image of what they could win. We also support integration with digital asset management and content management systems to help search for and reuse image assets as you create emails within Hybris Marketing. Once the emails have been sent, you can start observing the campaign success, and you can get granular statistical information about your campaign. Here, you can see how many emails have been sent, how many bounced or were opened, and you can see the click-through rate as well as which links were clicked and so on. If you have an integration with SAP CRM, on-premise, or SAP Cloud for Customer, you can capture information on how many leads were created at the end of a campaign, which leads were turned into opportunities, etc. There's tight integration into the SAP systems, and that's great added value. As mentioned, we have the ability to plan Facebook ads and also track KPIs and spend for those campaigns. The marketing calendar lets you view all of the marketing activities that are running at any given time in a very easy and clean UI. Here, the system automatically filters around 6 months of data, but you can select the time frame that you'd like. You can see all of the running campaigns, and you can zoom out to see a larger time frame. You can also see KPIs in this calendar. Across the Hybris Marketing application, we're combining analytics as part of the marketing processes and allowing marketers to quickly and seamlessly access performance information and dashboards without having to navigate to another system. If I select Top, I can see categories that are running very well, and if I select Flop, I can see the less successful ones. I can also see an aggregated view of my campaign spend. All of this data is pulled, calculated, and displayed in real time. As you can see, when I change the time frame, the amounts are recalculated. I can also look at the spend distribution by country and regions and understand the total amount spent in a region for a specific time frame. I can also view the average sentiment across my campaigns in a given time frame. So what we've seen so far is the focus on customer profile and the ability to understand the full context and to trigger marketing activities based on insight and the intelligence gained from customer interactions. And then, once you've executed your campaigns, you can see the success and spend analysis for these individual campaigns, or at an aggregated level. We also support the ability to establish budget plans, both using a top-down allocation approach or bottom-up planning. The planning component of Hybris Marketing allows marketing departments to plan marketing budgets based on standard or custom dimensions such as brands, countries, regions, and so on. Budgets can be assigned down to the level of programs that have marketing campaigns assigned. The key advantage to using a central system to plan, manage, approve, and track budgets and actuals is that everyone can have an accurate real-time view whenever needed. Today, in most cases, marketers have to track their budgets in Excel, which leads to many different versions of the truth, inaccurate data, and a complete lack of transparency for the CMO and key marketing executives. Here, you can see the budget that's been allocated to the Vincenzo brand per market. The planned budget shows an aggregated view of how much has been allocated from top-down planning to various countries, regions, and programs, while the planned spend shows the bottom-up planning and actuals from programs and campaign activities. I can also visualize the distribution of budgets across different countries using a map. I can drill down to a country level to see the detailed budget plan for North America, and also compare this year's budget to last year's or look at the current actual spend. I could drill down further to regions and planned programs to review the current budget plan or make adjustments to the budget for Canada, for instance. Changes are reflected in real time in my view, but are not saved until I officially publish all my changes. I can also share the status of my budget plan through Jam and invite colleagues to review the latest changes and adapt their programs and campaigns accordingly. It's also possible to plan detailed spends on a campaign level as a bottom-up approach, and these changes get reflected as planned spend within the budget planning area. Integration with ERP systems enables marketers to have a real-time view on what spends have been committed through purchase orders and how much has been paid out. Marketers can easily create dashboards by leveraging analytical views and real-time data available in the application. For instance, this is an example that was created using Lumira to show spend analysis from different perspectives. Finally, we also deliver out of the box a marketing executive dashboard that gives an overview of important KPIs to understand marketing effectiveness across different dimensions, such as brand perception, performance insight, revenues, and so on. It provides the ability to drill down to review trends over time, actual versus target, thresholds, and more. This concludes the overview of SAP Hybris Marketing, where we've covered marketing data management, segmentation, acquisition, insight, and planning. An overview of the recommendation and conversion modules will be provided in another session. As you've seen, SAP Hybris Marketing brings together all of the important data that marketers need in order to understand the full context of the customer, as well as the ability to leverage intelligence to predict what they'll do next, all in the same solution. This enables marketers to gain insight, drive actions, and orchestrate contextually relevant customer engagements across channels. Today, SAP Hybris Marketing supports execution directly and natively in many channels and also provides an open platform to integrate into all the other point solutions that marketers may choose to keep. The full context and real-time intelligence gained through SAP Hybris Marketing can help them drive better personalization and engagements from those point solutions. Finally, during execution, our solution collects the customer's interactions and the campaign results across channels to continuously enrich the customer profile, as well as provide real-time transparency into marketing performance, budgets, and spend status.